Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatiravanachari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatiravanachari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Narayanam Namaskritya, Narayanam Namaskritya, Naram Chaiva Narottamam, Naram Chaiva Narottamam, Devim Saraswatim Vyasam, Devim Saraswatim Vyasam, Tato Jayamudiraye, Tato Jayamudiraye, Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu, Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, Bhagavati Uttama Shloke, Bhagavati Uttama Shloke, Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki, Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 2, Shloka number 9 and 10. Shishyai ime Bhagavatah pratita patanti gayanti sama sahasyam ajashramisham Ishvach chikha vilulithaha sumana sumano bivrishtihi sarve bhajanti rishigana iva veda shakaha. So we will read the word to word meaning. Sishyaha, disciples or followers. Ime, these. Bhagavataha, of your worshipable self. Pratitaha, surrounding. Patanti, are reciting. Gayanti, are singing. Sama, the Sama Veda. Sa Rahasyam, with the confidential portions. Ajashram, incessantly. Isham, unto the Lord. Yushmat, your Shikha, from bunch of hair. Vilulithaha, fallen. Sumanaha, of flowers. Abhivrishtihi, showers. Sarve, all. Bhajanti, enjoy or resort to. Rishiganaha, sages. Iva, like. Veda Shakaha, branches of Vedic literature. Translation, and we'll be reading another shloka also. Translation: seeing the bumblebees following Purvachiti, Maharaj Agnidhara said, My dear Lord, the bumblebees surrounding your body are like disciples surrounding your worshipable self. They are incessantly chanting the mantras of the Samaveda and the Upanishads, thus offering prayers to you. Just as great sages resort to the branches of Vedic literatures, the bumblebees are enjoying the showers of flowers falling from your hair. Vacham param charana panjara tittirinam brahmanarupa mukaram shranavama tubhyam labda kadamba ruchiranka vitanka bimbe yasyam alata paridihi kvacha valkalam te. We'll read the translation purport. O Brahmana, I can simply hear the tinkling of your ankle bells. Within those bells, titiri birds seem to be chirping among themselves. Although I do not see their forms, I can hear how they are chirping. When I look at your beautiful circular hips, I see they are the lovely color of Kadamba flowers, and your waist is encircled by a belt of burning cinders. Indeed, you seem to have forgotten to dress yourself. Purport: with lusty desires to see Purvachiti, Agnidhara especially gazed upon girls' attractive hips and waist. When a man looks upon a woman with such lusty desires, he is captivated by her face, her breasts, and her waist. For a woman first attracts a man to fulfill his sexual desires by the beautiful features of her face, by the beautiful slope of her breasts, and also by her waist. Purvachiti was dressed in fine yellow silk, and therefore her hips looked like Kadamba flowers. Because of her belt, her waist seemed to be encircled by burning cinders. She was fully dressed, but Agnidhara had become so lusty that he asked, Why have you come naked? Om Jnanadhamrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Gadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Isha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So here we are studying about Krishna's material nature, how powerful it is. So now we see this. There are different kinds of people that are there. There are great devotees that are there who are very eager to take darshan of the Lord, and also there are people like Maharaj Agnidhara, who's dharmic, but then he has desire to attain the Pitruloka, and for that purpose he was performing tapasya, and for attaining Pitruloka and to sustain themselves over there, so they have to have good children and they have to continuously be performing Shraddha ceremony and things like that. So through that means, the residents of Pitruloka, they'll keep on getting their share, and they'll be able to stay over there. And understanding this desire, Lord Brahma is sending such a beautiful wife for the service of Maharaj Agnidhara, and Maharaj Agnidhara is like fully captivated by the lust, and he is actually speaking so much of like, what is that, even they didn't had any vulgar comparisons. They had very nice comparisons, like the bees are like your disciples, they are chanting the Samaveda and Upanishads. Even when they are captivated by lust, they are so dharmic in their in the comparisons and in the in the ways they speak actually. And we see that the most strategic points of fall for a person is that when he sees the opposite sex and the specific aspects of her face, the breast and the hips, these are all the very critical aspects which actually attracts a male towards, or attracts a living entity towards the opposite sex. So now we see that does the living entity has any choice to escape this particular thing? Mucus is caught up in some wrong place. You can give me that. What I So so does the living entity has a choice, and what kind of a choice the living entity has when he is faced with these kind of difficult situations? So especially for a devotee, it is like a difficult situation, but then for non-devotees it's like a very nice situation. So we see that when a living entity is come into the contact of material nature, he almost loses his capacity of choice. So in 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, in one place where it is mentioned in the Ajamil's pastime, that it's mentioned that the condition of the living entity in the material world is like a strong current of flowing river is there, and a person falls into the river, so is his capacity of swimming arrested? No, he has the capacity to swim, but still the current is so powerful, it just drags him and takes him away, right? So that is how powerful is the material nature. And material nature, we know different this one's conclusions of the material nature. Maya dakshena prakriti, it is working under the direction of the Supreme Lord. And daivi esha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya. So we cannot overpower the material nature. So we have the choice to perform. We have the choice to take calls, whether we should do this thing or that thing. But then the choice is quite narrowed down because of the strong attraction of this material nature, because of the strong pull of the material nature. So when the modes of nature display their activities in front of a living entity, so almost all the time the living entity just says yes to it. So whatever the modes dictates, the living entity actually goes by that particular mode. So here, that is why it is mentioned, this particular shloka also we often discuss, Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsa. So the whole point of discretion is there in the point of exposure. So when I get exposed to something, no material. So when I get exposed to something of three modes of nature, then what is the effect of it? Karanam Guna Sangasya. The effect of it is I have to be affected by that. I have to be affected by that particular mode. So I cannot say that I will I will associate with things of modes of nature, but I will not get affected by that. No great powerful personality is there in the whole creation. No, who can say this thing? No, only one person who can say is Krishna. No, only Krishna can be there in the association of material nature and still not affected by it. No. And who else can say that? Still not affected by it? Pure devotees. No, how do they say that? What is the strength? Because they are taking shelter of the Lord. So because they are taking shelter of the Lord, pure devotees are also exempt from getting attracted to the material nature. It is finally the Lord who is actually antidote for the material nature. Without association of the Lord or without the presence of the Lord, it is not possible for us to overcome the modes of material nature. So now we see how much the role the living entity has in this particular thing. What is the role the living entity has? Yeah, the living entity has just the desire. So if he has a slight desire, to do a particular kind of action, so then the Lord actually permits that particular action to happen. So this is like I was just hearing about these two shlokas, 5th chapter, 14th and 15th shloka. So the 14th shloka says, the embodied spirit, master of the city of his body, does not create activities, nor does he induce people to act, nor does he create the fruits of action. All this is enacted by the modes of material nature. So, what is mentioned in the shloka? Again, I'll read. The embodied spirit, master of the city of his body, does not create activities, nor does he induce people to act, nor does he create fruits of action. All this is enacted by modes of material nature. What is mentioned here?
Living entity is not the doer.
Everything is happening because of the three modes. He does not create his activities. He does not induce people. So now it's a nice purport. The living entity, as will be explained in 7th chapter, is one of the energies or nature of the Supreme Lord, but is distinct from matter, which is another nature called inferior nature of the Lord. Somehow the superior nature, the living entity, has been in contact with material nature since time immemorial. We ask the reason, like how the living entity came in contact. Prabhupada's answer is somehow the superior nature come in contact with the inferior nature. The temporary body or material dwelling place which he obtains is the cause of varieties of activities and their resultant actions. So this statement is also very important. The temporary body or the material dwelling place which he obtains is the cause of varieties of activities and various resultant actions. The living in such a conditional atmosphere, one suffers the results of activities of the body by identifying himself in ignorance with the body. It is ignorance acquired from time immemorial that is a cause of bodily suffering and distress. This is one very important, this one. So when we put the chart of the karmic reactions, what is the origin of the karma of the living entity? Avidya. No? Ignorance. Due to ignorance, what does he do? Commits a material activity. And when he commits a material activity, what is the result of it? There is two-pronged result. One side is prarabdha and then aprarabdha and then prarabdha. So that is one side, like when he commits this one, when he for example, if he commits no, a murder, so he should be killed. No, that's there in the pipeline. No, when he will be killed, so when he actually gets killed, that is called prarabdha. So when the thing is there in the pipeline, it is in the store. No, and then the next, no, the another prong of reaction when he commits a sinful activity, yeah, so he gets the desire. No, more desires to commit more such sins has been sown into his system, right? So and then he commits no more sinful actions, and no, he gets the reaction to it, and then he gets more desires to commit more sinful activities. So in this, no, what is the role of the living entity? No, the living entity just desired to be away from the Lord, and then he came in touch with the material modes of nature. No, avidya. No, avidya means what? When the ignorance comes, no, what is the result of the ignorance? No, we are in the three modes of nature. No, and in the three modes of nature, we come in contact with particular mode. So then, no, we are induced to do some actions according to that. No, so that is why, it is mentioned that a devotee should not glorify a material quality of people, and devotee should not criticize the material bad of people also. No, why he should not do? Because it is guna sangha. He comes in association with modes of nature, and once he comes in association with modes of nature, then karanam guna sanghasya, he will start acting in that particular mode. Later on he'll be dragged to act in that particular mode. So that is why guna sangha is to be avoided, and then satsanga has to be taken. So devotee takes association of other devotees who are expert in invoking the Lord, and devotee take association of the names of the Lord, the form of the Lord, the description of the Lord, wherein these things are liberating in nature. They are not guna, they are not part of material modes, and they are liberated. The Nama Chintamani, in that shloka also we study that how the name is Nitya Mukta, it is ever liberated. When we come in association with things which are in divine in nature, which are in solid connection with Krishna, so then we are liberated. But then we are put into the association of modes of nature. So guna sangha, once we come into the modes of association of modes of nature, we are dragged to act in a particular way. It is quite difficult. So we cannot say like I'll go to some difficult places where we can contain ourselves, where we cannot contain ourselves, and still I'll be dhira. It's not possible. So if we go there, so then we will become affected by the modes of material nature. I always remember this one. So one time I had gone to one of my relatives' place. They were seeing some Saas Bahu serial, where so much of gali chal raha hai dono ko beech mein. And then I was asking like, why are you seeing all these things? It is so contaminating. No, वो तो entertainment है. Like, it doesn't affect us. So I told like we don't have a choice of not being affected. We will become affected. Because it is guna sangha. And karanam guna sangha se. We will become affected. We will act like that. Very soon. So that is a very important this one to be understood. So now we see that in this whole thing, the desire of the living entity is very, very important. So now here the system is there of that, like the material modes of nature is governing, and then whatever desire the living entity has, accordingly things will be taken. And this desire is also so much what is that in our Gita summary, like we had presented this particular concept. So there is only one thing that exists, that is like in our capacity, that is the desire. And even this desire is so much, what is that, influenced, so much influenced by the modes of nature. So we give the example of a parent taking a small child. We actually put a video of that. Parent taking a small child into the supermarket, and then the child is like asking so many things, and then the parent is stopping, and then it throws off everything, and then it cries lying down on the floor of the supermarket and things like that. So we see that. So it is individual soul's desire is there, but then the influence is so much. The external influence is so much that we want to get this thing, we want to get that thing, we want to become affected by the modes of material nature. So we don't have that much of control or that much of strength to oppose the modes of material nature. No, we are quite weak actually. So only if we take shelter of Krishna, so then we will be sufficiently powerful enough to say no to Maya. No, otherwise we will not be able to say no to Maya. So it is very, very important that to understand the material nature, though it is called as inferior energy, but it is an energy which is perfectly working, according to the order of Krishna, Maya Dakshina Prakriti. But we, no, though we are superior energy, we are not acting according to Krishna, so we are weak. No, when we act according to Krishna, we are strong. No, but then when we are not acting according to Krishna, so when we are not carrying Krishna with us, then we are weak. No, so then material nature is superior energy. So, no, inferior and superior. No, in this one, in many different ways we actually see inferior and superior. So, in terms of strength to influence, material nature is superior to us. So why it is called as inferior nature? Because it cannot develop devotional service. It cannot, matter cannot. What is that term? It is dull material nature, right? So, but then the person operating behind it is a Vaishnavi. She is Durga Devi. So she operates very wonderfully. So material nature, in fact, it is quite powerful. In fact, in the progression of philosophy, we see that. So the bottommost of all the philosophy is the philosophy of sense gratification. So what is the logic behind this philosophy? So material nature is there, and I'm meant to exploit material nature. I can exploit material nature for my enjoyment. So that is the rock bottom of all the philosophy. Then the next advancement of philosophy is, so I cannot control material nature. Material nature is more powerful than me. So then such people are called as Shaktas, worshippers of Shakti, of the Lord. So they come to a little bit of self-realization that material nature is not under my control. I am under the control of material nature. So then comes this, then higher forms of worship and all these things comes. So this is very important to understand. Material nature we cannot control, and the sum total of all the powerful weapons of material nature is what? The opposite sex. It's quite difficult to overcome the influence of the opposite sex. And in that also, like here in this purport, very particularly it is mentioned. So like devotees who are very much interested in practicing Krishna consciousness intensely, and who wants to attain the lotus feet of the Lord, so they should be very careful, whether they be a brahmachari or a grahastha. This is very, very essential. So like meditating upon the face, the breast and the hips of a woman, it's quite dangerous. It can actually spring about so much of lusty desires. So sorry, I'm suffering some throat infection, so it is irritating a lot. So anyways, so here we see that this attraction is the strategic places in which this attraction is there is very clearly mentioned, and a sincere devotee should not take risk in trying out these pitfalls. So he should be very careful, and he should live a dharmic life, practicing intense Krishna consciousness. And another aspect that we can see is that these attractions of the material nature, it cannot offer complete satisfaction to the self. So though it promises, the material nature promises so much of happiness, this whole description, so descriptions like this is there filled in the material novels and material films and things like that, and then people, they go on, they take association of that by the way of Shravanam Kirtanam, and sometimes by the way of physically also. So when they do that, they feel that it is so much of happiness. And then when people practice Krishna consciousness, so and especially when young couples, when they take up to Krishna consciousness, and their relatives, they say, kya sab enjoyment tyag diya aapne. So and then when boys take up to Krishna consciousness, and then they want to practice this kind of philosophy and things like that, people say what, you have given up all your enjoyment. So basically, they are convinced, the people of this material world, they are completely convinced, this is the way of happiness. So happiness is bringing senses and sense objects together, and then, but then we understand from Bhagavad Gita that, like, "Ehi samsparsha jabhoga, dukkha yo nayevate." So, like, the senses and sense objects coming together is the perfect formula for distress, perfect formula for misery, actually. So, no, this is not the formula for happiness. And real formula for happiness is to be engaged in the service of the Lord. So, but this one, when we are not very advanced, so it may become very theoretical, to understand. Probably like this, though, you keep on telling that it is happiness, but then, all of us know it is quite difficult to get up early in the morning. All of us know it is quite difficult to focus in the, chanting and study Srimad Bhagavatam. And then, okay, like, only one happiness that I get is that, prasadam, and in that also you keep telling that, you should not take too much of, overeating should not be done. Okay, like, even if you allow overeating, but then my body reacts in such a way that, I get some disease and things like that. It doesn't seem to be like so much of enjoyment, So, like, abhi bol diye, like, so sometimes, जो 5 पैसा सर्कस के बारे में बोलते हैं ना, like materialistic people के बारे में बोलते हैं, so you see, like, there is enjoyment there, and you go inside and you get beatings. So Krishna consciousness also looks like that only. You keep telling that there is so much enjoyment here, just chant and you'll be happy. Chanting is most miserable hai. Mala khatam nahi ho raha. And then, especially devotees going to office, coming back, and then mala khatam nahi hua, like, raat mein baith ke, like, dozing and then chanting and things like that. It doesn't seem like, so much of happiness. So, but then, so param drishya nivartate. So this is one of the major problems, that people, practitioners of any yoga system will face. So it is our duty, to practice Krishna consciousness in the right way, and then, showcase or even inspire other people to practice Krishna consciousness in the right way. So it is a proven fact that Krishna is a reservoir of all pleasure. Krishna is a storehouse of all the nectar. Krishna is storehouse of all the sweetness, that is there. And how can we be there in the association of Krishna and not experience, the taste of, the bliss, in the practice of Krishna consciousness? So this Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Durdaiva Mihajanina Anuraga. So he says that it is only because of offenses, unto the lotus feet of the Lord, or unto the devotees of the Lord, or unto the paraphernalias of the Lord, and things like that. So it is specifically, this thing is what actually, not allows us to actually taste the nectar of Krishna consciousness. So now we see that, there are three aspects, like in our Harinam Chintamani seminar also we explained this particular subject. There are three aspects that are there. So primarily what we are trying to do in our Krishna consciousness is the central aspect. So that is, central aspect is somehow or other try to develop attachment to the lotus feet of the Lord, attachment to the names of the Lord, the descriptions of the Lord. So this is what we are trying to do, the primary thing. And how do we develop this attachment to the Lord? Yeah. And primary elements that we do in developing this attachment. Now with the bhakti, now with the bhakti. So that is the primary thing which will induce this attraction towards the Lord, right? So like chanting, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. So these are all the elements, these are all the regulative principles of devotional service. And when we do this thing in a regulated form, so then we are bound to get attached to the Lord. This is the regulative principles of devotional service, and these are the most potent elements. So what does Prahlad Maharaj says, the second shloka of this? Iti pumsarpitam Vishnu bhaktis chain navalakshana kriyate bhagavat yadda tanmanye dhitam uttamam. Right? So, so these are the most powerful and potent limbs of bhakti. Just by performing this, anyone should get attracted to the lotus feet of the Lord. So the attraction to the Lord must occur, when somebody performs this. So, but then what is even after performing this, if somebody says it is not happening, so then where is the glitch? What is happening there? So the other two aspects are very important. See, the other two aspects are the offenses and the etiquette. So these are the two other main aspects that a sadhaka should care for. So etiquette is how should we deal with the Lord? How should we deal with the devotees of the Lord? How should we deal with the non-devotees, the envious person? And how should we deal with the paraphernalia of the Lord? How should we deal with the material nature? So all of it is part and parcel of Krishna. And when we don't deal with these things appropriately, so then it turns into offense or sin. And when we deal with them appropriately, then it becomes the proper etiquette. And more we deal with these things properly, so Krishna becomes pleased, and then he starts revealing himself. So two things are essential. So one is offenses and etiquette is like corollary to each other. So if you are following proper etiquette, that means you cannot be offensive. So it's mutually exclusive actually. So we just perform things which are meant to develop attraction to Krishna, and then we behave well with Krishna and Krishna's energies. So then we are all set. There is no reason that we cannot become attracted to Krishna. Like Prahlad Maharaj says that amazing shloka. Yatha brahmayati ayam brahman swayam akarsha sannidho tatha me vidyate chetas chakrapaner etirchaya. So if we were to compose a shloka which is describing our this one, it is just like a magnet is attracted. First of all, Prahlad Maharaj ka shloka ka अनुवाद करेंगे. So yatha brahmayati ayam brahman. So that means just like an iron is attracted naturally to magnet. In the same way, I am attracted to this one, Vishnu, and then I don't have any control. It just happens. So if we were to tell an equivalent to for the materialistic person, so what we can say? Just like iron is attracted to the magnet, we are attracted to the three modes of nature, and we don't have any choice. कुछ choice नहीं बचा, it just naturally आता है. So this is the difference. It's the same thing. Like a person covered by ignorance, he naturally gets attracted to the modes of nature. That's one of the energy of Krishna. And a person who is attracted, who is purified or who is awakened to the knowledge, he naturally gets attracted to Krishna, under the shelter of Daivi Maya, under the shelter of Yoga Maya. So we have to be under the shelter of either Mahamaya or Yoga Maya. So either way, the good thing is we are always attracted to Krishna. We are not attracted to anyone else because there is no one else exists in the whole creation. So we have to be attracted to Krishna. So either in the shelter of three modes of nature or in the shelter of the divine nature, Yoga Maya potency of the Lord. So the choice is that if we develop desire to serve Krishna, so then we are attracted to Krishna directly. But if we don't want to serve Krishna, then we are attracted to Krishna under the condition of modes of material nature, right? So so it is one very important thing in the practice of Krishna consciousness, that we were trying to highlight upon, is that somehow or other we should develop taste in practice of Krishna consciousness. So that is by avoiding the offenses and then practicing Krishna consciousness. In many places, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu summarizes the whole philosophy in one or two lines. Anybody remembers what all things Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to say when somebody was he's just bidding farewell to somebody, and then just do this much. Your Krishna consciousness will be all right. Yeah, Niraparad Namaloy Pabe Premadan. So it is like Niraparad Namaloy. It is like you do now the bhakti starting from chanting and Shravanam and Kirtanam, and then avoid offenses. This much if you do, you will get the Krishna prem. And even in the morning also we chant this 10 offenses. And one who avoids these offenses and then performs the devotional service, he will attain Krishna prem. He will have to advance in Krishna consciousness. Last week we were there with the association of His Holiness Bhaktirasant Maharaj. And then one question was asked to him that we are performing devotional service but we are not advancing. So then Maharaj told a very nice comparison. So he told that if somebody says, I have studied well but still I did not get good marks, What is the meaning of it?
Didn't study
Didn't study properly. ठीक से पढ़ा नहीं. You know. So I perform devotional service, but still I'm not advancing, or still I'm not getting the taste in the process of Krishna consciousness. Means what? No, ठीक से नहीं किया. No, मेहनत किया, like agreed. No, you got up early in the morning, you attended Mangal Aarti, you chanted, you sat in the Bhagavatam class, सब कुछ किया, but ठीक से नहीं किया. So that is a problem. No, and we are no. I'm personally also trying to meditate upon this particular shloka, and also I'm trying to speak upon it like every opportunity that I get. Is this Ata Shri Krishna Namadi Na Bhavet Grahyam Indriyai Sevam Kehi Jivado Swayam Evaspurat. Right? So, like, we cannot force get the realization of the Lord. So we can only render service to Krishna, and then Krishna will reveal himself to us. So this is a very important thing. So being in the material world, so one problem with us is that we have always whatever we want, like we have never begged and prayed to anybody. So जाके like उठा लो, and नहीं तो like अभी तो इतना अच्छा जॉब वॉब में like लोग रहते हैं, so कुछ भी चाहिए like किससे क्यों मांगना है, like throw the money and get the thing done. So like that. So that is a very contaminating kind of an sanskar that has come inside. So we don't know this particular thing that I have to beg to the Lord. Like when I'm performing chanting, or when I'm studying Srimad Bhagavatam, or when I'm hearing, so I have to beg to the Lord that I'm coming in contact with a transcendental subject, and then I don't have access to it. No, you please reveal yourself unto me. So this is a very, very important key for us to get deeper into the realization of Krishna, and to get a taste of practice of Krishna consciousness. So without this, when we practice, there are multiple things that are there. First of all, we should be convinced that I should do now with the bhakti, with full seriousness. And then second thing is, why should I do this thing? Somehow or other I should attain the lotus feet of the Lord. That desire I should have strongly. And then, somehow or other I should attain. So, but what is the way to attain that? So, I cannot just forcibly attain that. I should beg and pray to the Lord. I should render service to Him, please Him, and then anticipate that He will show His mercy. And in that way, I'll be able to attain Him, and I'll be able to develop some taste in the process of Krishna consciousness. And then, while doing this, I should maintain proper etiquette, and not commit offenses. So there are multiple things that are there, which is in this whole game. So that is why bhakti yoga, after a certain limit, not everybody comes into bhakti yoga, and many fortunate souls, they come into bhakti yoga, because of honoring prasadam or hearing holy name, and because of getting a book and things like that, and then they practice some kacha devotional service, and still they make some advancement. But that advancement will come to a halt after some time. Then we will not make further advancement until unless we do this process of prayer and maintain the mood of humility, and do this process rightly. So we will not be able to go further. So then we will be stuck. So then, like, once we are stuck at a certain level, it is not going to be Ananda Buddhi Vardhanam. So to get the Ananda Buddhi Vardhanam, we have to go much further. So that is when we will be able to access Krishna in a substantial way, and we can be satisfied all the time, because a living entity is never satisfied with whatever he gets. So he requires an unending source. That is when he'll become satisfied. So that is why Ananda Buddhi Vardhanam is required for us. For us to become completely satisfied, and feel not to go out of that association anytime. And to come to that point, we need to do this, some certain basic aspects, very properly in our Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, Krishna consciousness will look very pale, or Krishna consciousness will look like the 5 paisa circus. कुछ तो बोल के अंदर लेके आया अभी, उठा नहीं तो मार रहे हैं, like ज़्यादा खाया तो मार रहे हैं, and सेवा नहीं किया तो मार रहे हैं, ये like it is like kind of, so it is, ये भी तो 5 paisa circus है, like इसमें क्या आनंद है, so it will become like that, so we should know the art of actually developing taste in Krishna consciousness. So with this I pause. Any questions or comments we can take. Yes, Paul.
So, like you told Prabhuji, after enjoying the material nature, we were suffering. But someone who is only getting happiness in suffering, like many people are there, who piercing and going to big Jula is there and like giving adventure and all this. So what about that? Like they are getting happiness in suffering only. So
See, like happiness at the level of body is to some extent, but happiness at the level of ego is like no much more relishable. No, for that you can actually take some suffering of the body. No, he is actually enjoying a higher level of material happiness than the gross bodily level of material happiness. No, he's enjoying happiness at the level of no intelligence or some kind of ego kind of a thing. See, like no, I can do so much. No, so when people appreciate, you ask him to do that. No, go to a forest, deep forest, where nobody sees, nobody clicks a photo of him, and no news is made out of it, and then simply ask him to pierce his body. He will not do that. So it is by showcasing, no, he'll be able to make some kind of a this one ki like देखो मैं इतना कर पा रहा हूँ actually. So that no, when people appreciate, no, they get some kind of a no different kind of a kick, no, and they get some kind of happiness out of it.
what about that? Like someone person who is suffering, getting suffering. So to whom go Krishna consciousness करना आसान है, but who is getting like happiness in suffering only. So how to say that?
See, whether a person is suffering or in happiness, it doesn't matter like either of the conditions. It is not a criteria for coming into Krishna consciousness. So, what is the criteria to coming into Krishna consciousness? Sukruti is needed. So, it is mentioned. Sorry. So, it is mentioned that. So, like, what is that? Artho, Artharthi, Jignashu, Jnani cha Bharatarshava. What is that? First line? No, Chaturvaja Bhajante Maam, Jana Sukritino Arjuna. So one who has got Sukruti, no? And with that Sukruti, if he gets some distress, he may turn to Krishna. It's not that simply distress means like kitna sara hospital hai, kitna sara log mar rahe hain, like no, so you go and preach to them, arey like no, pehle theek to hone do, they will not even look upon the process of Krishna consciousness. So the distress accompanied by Sukruti. Now when Sukruti is there and any one of these four things happens, so then they are induced to take shelter of Krishna. No, they are induced to come to Krishna. But without Sukruti, they will not be able to come to Krishna. Right? So even if a person is enjoying very nicely, no, but if he's got some Sukruti, so then we have experience of this, like we have while distributing books, there are some people like they are very nice, like nothing, there is no problem in their life at all. But then when they see Bhagavad Gita, they just get attracted to it. So that means somebody has deposited earlier. Some prasadam has gone inside, some like holy name has gone inside, something has gone inside, or they have done some unknowing service to some devotees. So something has gone inside, some Sukruti is there, and or some ISKCON project was coming up and somebody went for a donation and they gave donation. And then like next time they get some this one feeling that this Krishna consciousness is nice, I should try to explore this. Right? So that is why when somebody is like enjoying or suffering, if they say like no, I don't want to take up to Krishna consciousness, we say fine, it's all right. Please take some prasadam, and then have some nice pleasant exchange with them, and then maybe like a little later they'll come. So we should understand by initial interaction only, we should understand kitna Sukruti hai uska. So if he has got Sukruti, naturally he will get attraction to topics of Krishna. Shrusuto Shraddhadanasya Vasudeva Katharuchi. He will get some attraction towards the topics of Krishna. So that we can gauge. So based on that we just do this one needful and come out.
There is no way for them who don't have Sukruti.
Without Sukruti, we cannot get a person to appreciate Krishna consciousness. So a preacher actually tries to induce or try to develop some Sukruti in that person. Like that. So that's the actual preaching that we do. It is not that we are sharpening the logic and all. We are sharpening the logic and arguments and things like that. This will all work when he has already got little Sukruti. वो सुकृति नहीं है कुछ फायदा नहीं है. No? So like Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, right? Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, right? So like initially when the arguments of Gopinath Acharya, he was not at all convinced. So but then by interaction थोड़ा सुकृति बढ़ गया, तो उसके बाद he got convinced. No? Like that. Yes, ma'am.
Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is a verse, Bahujanma Kare Shravananiki. So, like after practicing devotional service for millions of times, still he will be here only because of the offenses. So, we know that God is so merciful. And he does not give the intelligence and kicks to boost up the person and go back to Godhead.
Yeah, he does that. So that is his mercy. So when we are so much accustomed to commit, that we are so much influenced by an offensive nature. So it's mercy of Krishna that he removes us from the association of devotees. So that our chance of committing offenses reduces. So then after that, whatever cycle we go through, so then we come back. And then when we come back, we will start as if we are starting from 50% or 70%, wherever we have left, like that. So it is quite this one. So there is a big argument is there whether he will start from ABCD or whether he will start from where he left. So different opinions are there. So but then we'll take the best of the opinion for us. It is good that he will start very nicely. So it is mercy of the Lord that he actually takes a living entity away, and the Lord actually allows the living entity to take his course of action or take his desires. The Lord doesn't influence the desire of the living entity forcefully. So material nature is also showing its influence, and the devotees are also showing its influence. So material nature is convincing a living entity, saying that no, you should work like this, and devotee is telling no, you should not do like this, you should do like this. And then both of them and living entity is like, no, finally he has to make a choice. The living entity has to make a choice. So Krishna is giving the intelligence through the way of association of devotees, and Maya is giving the influence by the way of like materialistic friends and materialistic association and materialistic grammar and things like that. So the living entity is constantly preached by both the sides. Which side he is taking? It all depends upon the living entity's particular choice, and how much he is overpowered by this one. It's a dynamic system. It's not a static system. In this condition, what will the living entity do? Nobody can predict. It's like completely dynamic. It's a variable, and it's a random variable. कुछ भी हो सकता है उस time पे. So, and it's the living entity's choice that he takes. It's quite dynamic actually. It's quite dynamic.
You were explaining about Gunasangasam. So, when we exposed to material nature, we do not have any choice. So, now in practical life, we see when we go to office and all, it's practically impossible to escape the talks they have in politics or sports or anything entertainment. So, what should be our way to?
In one of the books I was reading that when bhakti is born, it is like I think one of the acharyas, he compares Bhaktivinoda Thakur or somebody. He actually offers a comparison that it is like a small baby that is born. When the small baby that is born, so the small baby is taken care very nicely. Even they catch the neck of the baby, because the neck is very solid, not very solid, and then you cannot touch this one forehead also, because this is like वो खोपड़ी ठीक से फॉर्म नहीं होगा उस टाइम पे. It is very this one, you keep your finger, it will go inside. Don't try that. Then आप जेल में चले जाएंगे. So a small baby is like very soft. It cannot be exposed to, you cannot take the baby around in the sun or rain and heat and things like that. You should be very, very careful. So in the same way, the bhakti that we have got is so very soft, and it has to be so very nicely taken care of. So we just allow the bhakti to get damaged by the gunasanga. So then it becomes very this one, then it's a big loss actually. So that is why we do this all stricture. Get up early in the morning, do all the morning program. Though it is it may be an austerity, but then devotees who do it in the right way, so they will develop some taste in that also. So then, like they go into this one, to some extent, like no, I should not get part and things like that and all, and then towards the end of the day, like no, thoda sa, no, उसमें गुना संग लेके आते हैं, no, मार खा के चोट चोट से आते हैं, and then like after come back and again we should perform devotional service, to actually heal the wounds that has been caused, in the day's labor outside. So that needs to be done, and some people can take the choice of being brahmachari also, like so that is there. So and we should do this thing, and when we are sufficiently advanced, then it doesn't matter, whichever place we are in. So when we are sufficiently advanced, so then we will not be affected by the onslaught of material nature. So but that takes a good amount of advancement, so to not be affected. So that is why we should perform intense devotional service. We should take sadhu sangha. So without association of devotees, it is quite difficult, where we can, even individual reading and hearing, it doesn't make that much of powerful impact. So in fact, Bhakti-Rasamrita Maharaj was mentioning one particular point in this one. So he was mentioning Shravanam and Kirtanam results in Smaranam, right? So this he was mentioning. So you hear, the holy name, or you hear the Bhagavatam and things like that, and then you should also speak, about Krishna. So when you do these two things nicely, then the remembrance of the Lord comes very nicely. So in the office environment also we should, take opportunity to speak about Krishna consciousness. So wherever like we are, let's have this identity that I am a devotee of the Lord. And if I don't do things like properly in the outside environment, no worry, like even Karmi will say like, hey, तुम devotee है, ऐसा कैसे कर रहे हैं? sorry, ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए. So we'll get so much protection. Even from a non-devotee, you'll get so much protection. तुम devotee हो क्या ऐसा कर रहे हैं क्या? So and then forcibly we'll do things in accordance with the Lord, and we'll be forced to speak about the Lord. So when we hear nicely and when we speak, so then we remember the Lord. Once we remember the Lord, there is no danger. Till the time we forget the Lord, there is danger. So if we are expert in remembering the Lord, then there is no danger. And Maharaj mercifully gave this this understanding that in Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. So if we do first two things nicely, then the third thing will come out strongly. So like remembrance of the Lord will come out strongly. So that's why our Shravanam Kirtanam should be very nice. Otherwise we'll be overpowered by other Shravanam Kirtanam, material Shravanam Kirtanam. It's very powerful. This whole world is like so very loud about that. This one. It is like very strongly there. Strong advocates of material nature is there. So we should be careful with that.
So you were saying like opposite attraction to opposite gender is the sum total, or like the core way in which particular world is. But we generally say that the people who have overcome this part, they are attracted by puja la pratishtha. So they are higher than that should be the core part.
See, that is a subtle attraction, and that is also a kind of a lust only. So it is gross way of attraction, and that is a subtle way of attraction. So these are all called as the feminine nature of this one. Puja la pratishtha is also feminine actually in this one. And a person who has got that, it is matter of time he will come to this. So it is like very much related to each other actually. So more subtle aspects of this one is there, but for an ordinary living entity who is there, in the material this one. So for him, this is the most powerful attraction actually. People who are in ignorance, this is the powerful attraction. Any other?
Bhakti starting from the point where he left in the previous life. So taking that as like what you that everyone is starting the same. They don't really attend the classes, start chanting very great. They don't really start with 1 round, 1 4. So external speaking, they're starting at the same.
So starting at 1 round, but how fast they come to 16 rounds? So if they are coming very fast, that means no so much of investment is gone there. Some people take up very quickly. It's not just matter of increasing the rounds. Some people are, who are like influenced by the material modes of goodness. They may also take up very fast. So the thing is that a natural attraction towards the Lord. There is, every practitioner has some level of attraction towards Krishna. So what is that? That is the primary ingredient to be tested. The awakening of attraction. So like we always see, what is the parameter in which any of the yoga system is evaluated? Two parameters. Knowledge and renunciation. Jnana Vairagya. These are the two parameters by which any of the yoga systems you can evaluate. So how much of attraction towards the object of worship, that is Krishna. So for us it is Krishna. For other yoga systems, either it is Brahman or Paramatma. So like that is the thing. And then the second parameter is renunciation. How much he is detached from the material, this ones. And in this, amongst these two, what is the most important thing? Attraction to Krishna. So that is a primary parameter to judge how much of advancement that living entity has made. So that is the primary parameter. Externally somebody may be like chanting 16 rounds and doing so much of austerity and things like that. And like maybe like somebody is chanting 64 rounds also. So but then how much of attraction actually he has awakened for Krishna, that is the real advancement. So the external doesn't matter much. So this is the thing. But when external doesn't matter means like I'll not do 16 rounds. I'll develop my natural attraction to Krishna in some other way. The Acharya has told, this has to be done. So what is the minimum austerity that needs to be done? That needs to be done. And on top of it, if you are told to, or if you are like attracted to, so then you can do some more extra aspects of certain angas of bhakti. So that is okay. So, but then too much of austerity, in Bhagavad Gita it is mentioned, like Mayavadis, they do too much of austerity. So that is like torturing the super soul also. It is mentioned. So that is not bhakti. Bhakti means not doing too much of austerity and not being like too much bindas. So both is not good actually. Bhakti means a level of austerity which will invoke our appreciation for Krishna, invoke our attraction to Krishna. That is very important. So we don't do extreme austerities. So that is not very good actually. So in burning heat, like we go in this one bina jute ka, like chal rahe. So generally we go to the dham, like we try to walk bina jute ka. Like what is the purpose? To get in touch with the holy dust, which will inspire us Krishna consciousness. But बहुत ज़्यादा गर्मी है, तो like जूते पहन लेंगे, चलो. So the thing is, like we will not even torture the body also too much, right? So we should be practical in terms of Krishna consciousness. Like the practicality is what? So somehow or other we should develop attraction to Krishna, and we should not torture ourselves. We should not torture the super soul, right? So that is the practicality. So like it is scorching heat, like blisters aayega and things like that. So we don't have the mood of Sanatan Goswami, where with blisters he went to Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu asked like, why have you come like this? Your feet has blisters. Oh, I didn't notice. ऐसा नहीं है. So when we are doing parikrama or something like that, अरे like no Prabhuji, like ये तो बहुत जल रहा है. but तो austerity करना है, ऐसा करना है. better जूते पहन के अच्छे consciousness में like parikrama करो. So like that. So it is, the practicality is that we should somehow or other develop attachment to Krishna. And we should not torture. We should not do extreme austerities. And that. Okay. But if your feet is getting burnt and if you are not noticing, then it's okay. You can then you can चल सकते हैं. ठीक है. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, गौर भक्तवृंद की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय.
Let's thank HARIKSETRA Prabhu for such an inspiring class by chanting Hare Krishna.